Oh, wrong. Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. All right, good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it just needs to be signed into the right account and we'll be good. You there?
Yeah, hey.
Hey, okay. So yeah, it was signed. Apparently YouTube was signed into his other account. So it's
awesome.
going to his personal YouTube instead of the Just for Fun YouTube.
That's brilliant.
So what's going on at E3? What is this?
I don't know. You want Kurt to... I have no idea. I literally have read nothing. Do what?
All right, tell Kurt to go ahead and call and we'll bring him on when this song ends.
All right, babe, go ahead and call. Sorry, I just yelled that in the mic.
That's okay. Luckily, your volume is limited.
Okay, good.
I think
That's probably a good idea.
Well, I think both of... I think...
That's loud.
Was that loud? Hey.
A little bit.
Hello.
All right. You hear him, Dan?
Yeah, I can. Hey, babe.
Yeah, I can hear everybody.
Okay. What we'll do after this song comes in, we'll go to you, Kurt. I'll introduce you, and then
That's
you can
King
explain
Kurt
to me
to you,
and everybody
civilian.
what. Say what?
I said that's King Kurt to you, civilian.
King Kurt.
That's his.
Is that your screen name or something? That's his.
On PlayStation 4, yeah.
Okay, King Kurt. And you can explain to everybody what E3 is and what's been going on, because I know nothing about it.
But I don't know much about what E3 is, what's going on. I'd rather just talk about the games that are coming out and why they're exciting. And, well, I don't know everything there is to know about E3, but I can talk a little about what's happened. I can't talk too in-depth, but I can talk about the announcement from Xbox and PlayStation 3.
Absolutely.
Their new systems and what's coming out and why I think one might be better than the other. And virtual reality, what they've said about that. And then the games that they talked about that I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, babe, we know nothing.
Let's do that.
Yeah, well,
I didn't even know there were.
Paying a little attention to E3. What do you think?
I had no idea there were new consoles. So.
Oh,
yeah, we know nothing about that shit.
Yeah,
so. Hence your role on the show.
Kind of
Good. That's what we'll do.
Cool.
And we're about 20 seconds out.
All right.
He has a funny story about one of the guys on his clan that I want him to tell too.
All right, we can tell that.
Alex, I sent you that page from the report.
Okay. All right, we're back. And we got the YouTube issues fixed. So we now have a live YouTube stream on the Just for Fun page. Turns out Scott was logged into his personal account rather than the Just for Fun account. So part one of the video we'll try to transfer over later on so people can watch it on the replay. This will be part two, and it's going out live now, and we already have viewers. So
yes.
On the phone, I have King Kurt from all the way up there in Minnesota. King Kurt, it's Danielle's other half. Danielle's, I'm not going to say better half because Danielle will reach through and punch me in the face. Hey,
I'm
Kurt,
already trying to be nice to you, Alex.
Good. Glad to be here.
Now you've come on to talk to us about E3 and all the goodies that are coming, right?
I have a little insight there. I've been watching it fairly closely, as close as you can from Minnesota anyway, and trying to keep up with the new consoles coming out, how they're going to deal with VR, when their VR might come out, and some of the games they're going to roll out that I'm excited about.
All right. So what got your interest? What was the best thing that you've seen so far?
Well, I want to know. I pre-ordered the I'm a PlayStation 4 guy. I pre-ordered their VR the day it came out. It was $500. You get like 2 Move controllers and the camera you're gonna need for the PS4, and it was kind of a leap of faith because all you saw was what it looked like at that point. That was 2 months ago, and
Yes.
so I was like, well, there's a lot of computing power needed to run VR.
Yes.
So can my happy little PS4 play it? And I was like, well, they're selling it. It must be the case. Well, apparently not, because now they decided to launch another PS4, the Neo. So I've already invested $500. Am I going to have to invest another $500 to make this all work? So that's kind of when I really got interested in it.
So is that up in the air right now, or are you going to have to get a decent?
No. If you want to run true 4K, from what I understand, you're probably going to have to invest in the Neo.
Okay.
All games that are coming out right now for the PlayStation 4 are going to have a virtual reality mode and a regular mode. All virtual reality games that come out are going to play back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're going to have like a selector, I guess. That's still kind of up in the air. There is still a lot unknown about this. So.
Did they at least, you said that you didn't even really know what the hardware was going to look like, the VR hardware. Did they, I'm looking at pictures now, and I don't know if these are real or if these are mock-ups.
Nope, that's what it looks like. Yep.
Okay, that actually looks pretty good.
And there's a couple of reviews before the pre-order, and they actually put it on their head. And, you kind of have to tighten it to your head as you're moving around. They talked about weight and things like that. It is tethered. It's not wireless. They never show the wire.
Okay.
That's the trick all these video games do, headsets and lots of times. And I was also concerned about the headset. So, because I've got the Turtle Beach Elite 800 headset. So, that, is that going to fit on it? Or I'm going to have to get a different headset because there's no speakers in that thing. There's no integrated speaker.
Yeah, it comes with some earbuds by the looks of it.
Yeah, well, no, those are the earbuds they probably give you at the PlayStation from what I've seen. But either way, it's not integrated. You think it's and another concern is how much weight am I putting on my head?
Yeah.
If I'm going to be gaming for 6 hours, which is not uncommon, and so the reviews have already been good about the weight and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So really excited. I know that there's a couple games that are coming out that are going to be full VR from beginning to end. And I'm afraid my fear was it's going to be like when the Wii came out. It looked cool, but they gave you Wii bowling and you bowled a couple games. You're like, well, okay, that's cool. What do we really do with this thing?
Yeah.
And you played tennis.
Yeah.
They give you those starter games, but there's nothing else. But it sounds like they're going to have 50 VR games launched over the next 8 months.
Well, that's good because I bought into the PlayStation 3D when that came out. I bought the Sony branded PlayStation television with the 3D glasses and stuff like that, and it really is cool as hell. Although my TV died after a year, it really was, I should say, cool as hell. But the problem we ran into was game support, right? Developer support was lacking, but that's because they didn't sell many. I imagine they're going to sell a ton of these at $399. It's what is that? $200 or $300 cheaper than Oculus Rift.
Oculus I think goes for $8.
Okay, so it's half the price of Oculus Rift.
Right.
The pre-installed base is enormous. Everybody already with a PS4.
Right.
And as long as it runs on existing hardware, then I think they're onto a winner. But what about the new hardware? What's different? Is it just speed bumps, or is there anything new for your money?
Not really. Mostly just speed bumps. They want to run that 4K. It's native 4K. And that's, from what I've read, the big difference. The same with the Xbox, by the way.
Okay.
Everybody's getting to that 4K, and that seems to be the next jump. But the PS4 has only been out 3 years? How long has it been?
Yeah, it's probably been about 3 years.
Yeah, and the PS3 ran for 8.
That's right.
So you're seeing the life cycle change so quick.
Yeah, apparently, because they used to shoot for between 8 and 10 years to refresh these things. So Microsoft announced a new console as well, huh?
Yep, it's the Scorpio, and again 4K. But the difference is, and from what I've seen, even with Microsoft VR, is they're talking about it and they're saying what they're going to do. Right. PlayStation seems to be months, even maybe 6 to 8 months ahead in actually producing something we're going to get.
Yeah. Well, so when does the PlayStation stuff ship? You've already pre-ordered. When is it shipping?
They said October 30th and announced October, I think 13th. Yeah.
And Microsoft are sometime in 2017.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just who knows. Fall 2017. And when you start hearing, when you're that far out, you just never know.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand an upgrade for the PS4, and they're even calling it the PS4, right? Or are they calling
Well, they're calling it the Neo or the PS4.5. I mean, there's a bunch of names banded around. Neo's the one I get the most.
Mm-hmm. But Microsoft has come up with a completely new branding. They've got away from Xbox One completely, and they've gone with something new.
And, well, they did announce at E3, like an Xbox One S, I think it's called, which is just a smaller Xbox One.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah, but if you've already got one, what's the motivation to do another one, especially if there's another one coming out?
No, I agree.
You know?
They did that with the Xbox 360, didn't they? The newer or the one
Slimline, I think.
Yeah, they're smaller and they're I think better looking. And I did consider buying one because I never had an Xbox 360 at all.
I never did either.
Yeah, and it launched alongside the Xbox One, but it was half the price. And I thought, well, maybe I'll get one of those. I never did because my habit is to buy a console, play it for 20 minutes, and then put it in a box and never touch it again.
There you go.
That's my big problem. All right. So what's happening on the game front?
Well, the big games coming out are going to be Battlefront 1 and Call of Duty for me. And both those games kind of failed in their last attempt. The last Battlefield was actually called Hardline, and it was kind of cops and robbers, more like a Grand Theft Auto. It was just like a Grand Theft Auto, but a bad one. Huh. And so everybody bought it, played it, and then started playing Battlefield 4 again, the previous version.
Interesting.
There's no tanks. It was very weird. And I don't know why they went that way, but they did. And they put out a beta for it that everybody played, and they're like, and they asked for our feedback when they do the betas and things, and they're like, okay, it's cool, but it's just Grand Theft Auto. Like a smaller, without a big world, Mm-hmm. Grand Theft Auto is a huge world, where you can go do a lot of things. But they've gone back to World War I. There's biplanes, there's zeppelins, there's, the guns are going to be period and feel different. The environment's going to be demolishable. Like when a bomb hits, there's a crater there. When you take down a building, you take down the whole building, like all the buildings. And some of the games, there's some buildings that are kind of collapsible, which ones they are,
Mm-hmm.
but you can shoot 1,000 rounds with a tank into some of them, they don't do anything. So it's like Bad Company 2 had that feature a lot. So you can build craters and sniper out of craters and things like that. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. I like the idea of flying biplanes. And the new Call of Duty is in space, it looks like.
Infinite Warfare, is this the one?
Yep, Infinite Warfare. They did a trailer at E3. And it kind of looked like, what did it look like to me? Remember Aliens with Sigourney Weaver when she got in the big things where she stomped around,
Yeah.
The big mechanical suits.
Yep.
So the trailer started with something like that. They're in a big loading bay like that. Everybody's running around, all whatever, and then fired up, and they get into a ship, and then they kind of rip off Battlestar Galactica because they get launched down that tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
You're just like a launch tube. And from there out, it was really different because their last game kind of failed too. It had jump packs, as that was going to be like their new thing. Because you had these boosters on your back where you could jump higher and run on walls. And by the time you finished playing the beta, that was and got the game, you'd already done the cooler stuff from that, and everybody again just was like, okay, we're done now. So I think they've tried to evolve, and so the whole trailer was in space. So I guess I don't know how that's going to play out, but it looked like a lot of fun. Big worlds, and a lot of good gameplay there. So I'm go ahead.
That's okay. I'm watching something now of Infinite Warfare, and he just climbed into like a little X-wing fighter type looking thing.
He's about
and
to
now
launch
he's
down
about
too.
he's about to get launched. It's I hate to say it's Halo-ish, but it is it's kind of Halo-ish.
But everything in space is called kind of Halo-ish.
Yeah,
to some extent, you know, because that's kind of a genre. You know, Halo was the first to take us there, and if you're of any age, you know, you realize, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll bet it's going to be good. You'll be fighting aliens. It's going to be it's going to be like what was that game I used to play on the PlayStation where the aliens came to Earth and you killed them all. It was a really big game, and I can't remember the name of it. There were like 3 episodes, whatever. There were 3 episodes of it. It looks similar to that, only obviously more modern, and the graphics it's amazing looking. I mean, it looks unbelievable.
And the only reason to upgrade the graphics now, because you know that's kind of the point where how real can you make things is this VR. That's the next big push. That's why we need bigger machines.
Yeah. Now, will this be a VR supported game? Do you know?
I don't know. I do not know that. I hope. I know the new Resident Evil that's coming out is going to be VR supported from start to finish, and it looks pretty badass.
I love the Resident Evil games.
Yeah. Yep. So, I'm excited about that as well. So, there's a lot to look forward to. But you know, they got to deliver on these promises. You know, don't make it crap, especially at these price points. You know.
I agree. How much are the games going to be?
The same. To the best of my knowledge.
So 60,
but, you know, you're talking about
70.
investing in, you're talking about investing $500 in, you know, the VR piece, and then you got to upgrade. I just bought a PS4 3 years ago for $400. You know.
Yep.
And my life is, I'm expecting that 8-year lifespan. I'm glad actually it's not that long because things get so much better in 8 years. By the time you know you're 5, it's pretty much obsolete. You're still playing it. You know.
Right.
They're still building games for that platform. So.
That's right. There's so much more potential with newer hardware.
Right.
I'm thinking about now the peripheral options that might come available with this VR. Because if I'm watching this game, I'm thinking if I could strap on a headset and then have a rifle, and you know the rifle target and be able to look around and actually target down the sights and make shots and things like that would be amazing.
There's a game called Farpoint for PlayStation, and they built a gun for it for virtual reality. And it looks like it's kind of like a square with the bottom kind of one of the points kind of crushed in, so it kind of cradles you like you're holding an assault rifle or some kind of rifle. Yep. It's got the little wand on the front, and the controller's on the front, and the trigger in the back. So in your hand, it would probably feel like the gun you're using, and it's just for this game.
Very cool.
You know,
I have one. I actually have one for my PS3, which the Move controllers go into, and then creates a carbine type of rifle setup. The problem is targeting with it is because it uses the Move and it uses that optical sensor or that light sensor.
Right.
Targeting with it is very hit or miss. I'm thinking with VR. If they imagine a peripheral that had sights, but the sights were sensors that the headset could recognize as well. And when you brought it up and you looked down the sights, you were literally looking down the sights.
Right.
It was that pinpoint accurate. I would love to see. I'd buy one of those if that were the case.
And yours had to look like a gun. And it did. I've seen that one. It looked like a little gun thing. This does not look like a gun. It looks like the part of the gun you hold on to. And it's supposed to, you're supposed to be able to make shots with it that you can't make with just a regular Move controller. And, you know, whatever else you have to use. It's got direct one-to-one tracking. I don't know what that means. It sounds pretty damn cool. So, I watched a video on it. They said, with this little device, you can make shots you can't make with, you know, just your regular controllers.
I like the sound of that. And that's available now, or is that upcoming?
Yep. No, as soon as the VR comes out, of course. I mean, but it's actually an indie company did that for PlayStation because they're bringing a lot of these people to develop stuff for them. Do
you happen to know the name of that thing off the top of your head?
It's called write it down actually. The game's called Farpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the VR Aim Controller. And I did find a little video on that too. Yeah, but if you look at it, of course, you've got the VR gear on. You don't need it to look like a gun, but you need to feel like one in your hand.
Oh, I see it.
And, yeah, it's a cool little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have one of those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially, again, if it's as accurate as they're claiming.
It's supposed to be more accurate.
That is brilliant. Oh,
yeah. So
damn it!
Lots out there.
Now I might be getting a PS4 and a VR. I imagine they're gonna have bundles of the whole thing.
For sure.
In one for probably $1,000. Because how much is a PS4 these days?
Well, now you can get bundled games and everything. It's come down here around 300, I think, with games and everything. No, they both dropped their price point. Microsoft came out costing more, and they've all come down a little. But I pre-ordered, like I said, the VR because it was going to run out. GameStop ran out, and Best Buy ran out the first day. So I pre-ordered the first day. I don't know if pre-order is still available. But yesterday, I got an email from Best Buy saying, here's your ship date. Because they announced at E3.
Nice.
So they're nice to keep me in the loop. I'm excited. And it's replacing your TV. Think about how much you spend on your gaming TV. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess theoretically, but all the games are supposed to be dual mode, right? You can play them with the headset or without. Okay.
Yep, the one. Yep.
And of course, you're not going to get rid of your TV.
No. But I mean, I'm just justifying here. I'm just justifying.
Well, what you should be justifying is a new TV somehow to go along with this whole setup.
He's spending as much as a coach purse costs on a game system.
But now he's going to need a 4K TV because when the headset gets too heavy and you're playing in 4K, when you're playing in 4K on the VR headset, but that
I just can't take the res drop.
Exactly. You got to have 4K on the TV then.
Are we done?
Otherwise,
is this segment over?
I don't know. Was there anything else new there, Kurt? Anything else worth talking about?
Just Microsoft came out with a controller designer studio. You can design your own controller with different colored buttons, and there's 18 million possible variations. So if you're into that, that was something they ran out. Just seemed like a kind of fluff piece to me.
Right.
So you can change the colors on your bumpers, and it's kind of cool. It's something different. They're doing something.
Yeah, I mean that means all these people that belong to clans or whatever they're called these days. They could all order custom controllers in their colors, for example.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
or whatever your favorite. Yeah, whatever your favorite Halo character is, because you can customize their uniform and their colors and stuff. Maybe they'll be able to match up with that. And it's a revenue source, obviously, because people.
I was actually thinking if it's something that's not terribly spendy, it's actually something that if you've got kids that game, can have their own controllers and their own colors or whatever. I mean, it's
you can really not great as well.
Yeah. So
you can put your name or gamer tag on it. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. We love custom things.
Yeah, totally love custom things.
And people are out there spray painting their controllers and making them personalized.
Dude,
and
the shit we used to do to make our phones different from other people's phones.
Oh, yeah.
Different cases.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
No, we used to break apart our phones. We would build different bodies. Alex made himself, was it gold? Didn't you make yourself a completely gold BlackBerry?
Chrome. It was completely chrome.
Yeah, a chromed out BlackBerry.
Yeah, fully chromed. And people buy skins for their consoles. Stick-on skins to customize the colors. Flossie did one in blue and orange because of the Knicks. Did you ever see that review, Dan?
No.
Yeah.
Fucking love
he did his Xbox up, he did his PS4 up in blue and orange because of the New York Knicks, apparently. I'm assuming they wear blue and orange.
I'm guessing, yeah.
And lose a lot.
My least favorite color combination.
Yeah.
The the things that came out of E3 I thought were interesting. There's going to be crossplay for the Xbox One between that and Windows 10. So if you're a PC gamer and you buy a game, you can use it on Xbox One and PC, and it keeps your levels.
Now, that's huge if and only if it allows, does it also allow PC gamers and Xbox One gamers to play?
No,
Okay.
no, they haven't got there yet.
Damn it.
They haven't got there yet.
See, that would be huge.
And it's an advantage because, Sony, who they can't partner with their own operating system. And they, so that's kind of an Xbox advantage. And Xbox is going to allow Cortina now. They're very going to Siri, I guess.
Yep.
So that's it. That's kind of my wrap up.
That's kind of cool. Do either of these new consoles yet support keyboard and mouse controls?
Not that I know of.
Mm.
And that's always been a problem, those quick commands and things like that, and
That's
something you have to give up for the reliability of console. That's how I justify it.
Unfortunately for me, that's my biggest downfall playing consoles. I'm terrible with those handheld controllers. Now, I will admit I've not invested a great deal of time into it. So, it's not like I've ever practiced. But I was always great with a keyboard and mouse.
Because I can't play Minecraft on console. Because I got a Nostradamus-like mouse. It's like, those weird little mouses with all the buttons for Minecraft. I play on Mac, but PC, whatever. And, clicking all those buttons, or God forbid playing it on an iPad, it's mind-numbing to try and figure out to do anything in Minecraft. It's like, I can't believe you guys think this is cool.
Yeah, my
so much cooler.
My setup on the PC was, again, it's been a long time, but I had I think it was a Razer mouse and then a Nostromo controller for my left hand, which had a bunch of buttons and direction keys and stuff like that. And man,
that's the one I got.
I could tear it up with that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Inventory.
Well, there's our E3 gaming update from King Kurt. Kurt, thank you very much for calling in and catching everybody up on that kind of stuff. We should actually do that more often. We should do that more often, but the problem is...
It's Destiny Tuesday reset. I got my clans waiting on me right now.
Okay, well, go frag some things.
Bye, thanks,
man. I will. Mini-Vex will die.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for calling in. See you.
Yep, see you guys. Bye.
Bye. King Kurt.
Okay. So do we need to go to a break quick, or can I tell you a funny story?
You go ahead. Tell me funny.
So one of I can't tell it loudly because he'll hear me. One of the guys in his clan walked into work today, a job that he already hates, to find that someone had defecated in his cubicle. Like a guy on his whatever game they're playing clan. So he texted the whole clan, told them that, and said, "Must kill guys tonight." So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get him to call in because the clan is seriously
what kind of office does he work in where someone's going to poop in his cubicle?
Well, Kurt came in and said, Big Jim found a steamer in his cubicle today. Well, Kurt had taken our dogs into work like last week or sometime, and I'm thinking, is that a guy that works with him? And did one of our dogs poop in his office? No, it's some guy that, like, totally different situation, but yeah, a human defecated in his cubicle. Yeah, so Big Jim's ready to kill some guys.
And his payback will be fragging people. My payback would be far worse than fragging people.
Right.
All right, actually, let's take a break, and because we've run over a bit. When we get back, let's talk about the WWDC presentation from yesterday, which you've watched and I haven't. So you're probably going to know a lot more about it than I do. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, I'm going to post a quick link on Facebook so that anybody that tried tuning in can try again.
Can you see if we have any listeners?
We had a peak of 19 apparently, or 19 IP addresses. I don't know how many listeners that equates to because traffic would be more
Okay,
than one
gotcha.
person per IP.
Right.
Let me go to Tech Talk.
Yeah, I have a couple of other
YouTube
stories
is-
too, other than the list of things that came out of. You have a bunch of stuff on Apple too, right?
Oh no, no.
What do you mean no?
I did not watch the I did not watch the live stream. I watched a quick 15-minute recap that The Verge published.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I know
So you
a
have stuff
little
from there?
about it. Say again.
I said you have stuff from that then, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have stuff to talk about. We can definitely talk about it.
I mean, I have some
'cause
pipelines. I
iOS
just don't
10
have. I mean, I just thought that it would be just horribly boring to just list a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I don't. I think it's going to be awesome to list a bunch of stuff.
So I have a bunch of stuff, but then I was like, wow, this is just a
Okay.
list of a bunch of stuff.
All right. So anyway, there was WatchOS, there was Apple TV, there was Mac OS, iOS, and then their developer stuff. So we can cover all of that. In the meantime, though, I got to go take a pee.
Copy.
All right.
Could be. Hey, buddy.
All right. In a million years, you will never guess what I just found on the studio floor.
Crack rock.
I bet you haven't seen one of these in years.
Oh. Shut up. Is that a
Cassette
cassette tape?
Yeah. Yeah, a
Oh my
TDK
God.
MA90 cassette tape. I
I
have
have
no,
not
and
seen
it's
one of those
duct
in
taped.
years.
It's duct taped closed. I
No.
don't know why. Yeah, the case has duct tape on it to prevent it opening. I'm opening it now. Peeling this shit off.
Hysterical.
I would,
That's some-
you know, I wouldn't even have a device that could play this.
That's somebody's drug stash up in there. I don't think, you know, I don't either.
When was the last time you ever had a tape player?
In
That's crazy. Look
my
at
house in
this. Little cassette
Lawrenceville, I
tape.
had one back in that back room. I had a 2-deck cassette player and a turntable that I sold with that all my crap.
That's insane. Yeah, I haven't had a cassette player in, wow, I can't tell you how many years.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, why would I?
right.
I found candy again, so.
Oh shit, dude. I went grocery shopping today while hungry and bought a pile of crap, but I went downstairs and got the dogs and did not bring the crap upstairs with me, so as not to be eating on the radio.
I should have gone grocery shopping today because I'm this close to being out of food.
Yeah.
I stopped by the store on the way here just to pick up a case of water. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll be drinking water.
Freeze it, and then that's ice, and that's like food.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time I buy a case of water, without fail, I open it with my knife and end up cutting one of the bottles, and then it leaks water everywhere.
Seems like you might learn at some point.
That's not as funny as pooping in someone's cubicle, but still.
Can you even imagine? I want to know more about that. Like, I want to know if they dropped trout in there and like dropped a fresh steamer, or did they bring it in with? Like, there's a lot I want to know about the poop. Was it in a container? Was it on some paper? Was it straight on the floor? A
That's
lot
awful.
about. Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's bad. Mm-hmm. That's bad. Yeah. I'm excited. I didn't write many notes about this, but I'm excited about the upcoming integration between mobile devices and the Mac desktops, the Mac iOS.
Continuity.
Huh?
Here, we're going back on. Hold on. We're
Okay.
going back on. Hold on.
Holding.
All right, we're back. So yeah, WWDC, the Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, opened yesterday, and Apple opened it with their keynote speech and their presentation again, as they always do. And they covered a bunch of stuff. One of the things Danielle is excited about is continuity, which is basically your mobile device talking to your desktop computer, which Danielle, they already have continuity in a number of apps.
Right.
For example, if you start an email on your iPhone and then open up Mail on your Mac, you'll find your email is right there in front of you, half composed. And
Right.
there's a lot of things, Pages and the other one, Numbers, I think it's called. It'll pick up where you left off on your phone. But what is there new in continuity that they talked about?
I don't remember. Something about copying and pasting. The clipboard, I think, if you copy stuff to your clipboard.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's going to be an iCloud clipboard where
Yes.
Anything you copy on your phone, you can then paste on your desktop and vice versa.
Right.
Mac OS is also going to include, I can't remember what they called it, but it's instant unlocking or proximity unlocking. If you have an Apple Watch and you go to your Mac, it will log you in automatically, stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah, here's
I-
the
like I
problem
said,
with the broadcast. You know me, I'm like a gerbil. So like they would be talking about something, I'd be like, oh, that's exciting. And then they'd go on to the next thing and I'd be like, oh, that's exciting. And then the new thing would make me forget the thing before it. So I had to go and like read all the articles about it. And I've taken copious notes, but there are lots of things that I know they talked about that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I just don't have, like I said, I like the gerbil. So
okay.
that was one
Well,
of
do
those.
you have any notes that relate to the Apple Watch? Because we'll start there.
I do have notes on the Apple Watch. Do you want to start and I'll just interrupt you when I have something interesting to say?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So they started talking about the Apple Watch, and WatchOS 3, I believe, is going to be coming out. Now, bear in mind, none of this stuff is going to be available until fall. So September, October time. Everything we're talking about is upcoming. Developer betas and public betas will be available. Public betas Developer betas are available now, today, if you're a registered developer. And public betas will be available in July for some of these things, iOS 10 specifically. So if you go to beta.apple.com, you can set up your account and register and be ready for it. But they started with Apple Watch or watchOS 3.0. And it's basically a reboot, a complete reboot of the Apple Watch. They've redesigned the, well, not all the whole interface, but most of the interface. They've made it, from what I saw in the parts of the presentation I watched on The Verge, from what I saw, they've made it a hell of a lot faster to use apps on the Apple Watch, which is sorely needed because apps are slow on the watch. They've made a lot of user interface tweaks. For example, changing your watch face now, all you'll have to do is swipe left to right or right to left to change your watch face.
And I think you'll be able to do it from the phone app as well, which will be nice.
Yeah, I believe so. What was I going to say? They are adding a number of new watch faces, one of which is the activity watch face. So you can, instead of opening the activity app to monitor your exercises and whatnot, you can do it right from the watch face and start a exercise from the watch face, which normally, I'm trying to get this on camera, I have to go to my apps, I have to go to the exercise app, then I have to start my workout, which is, for me, is an elliptical. So a number of speed enhancements and user interface enhancements, which I think are sorely needed for the watch to make it a little bit more usable.
But the best new
What
face
notes
is
did
Minnie
you have?
Mouse. There will be a Minnie Mouse
Oh,
watch
yeah, Minnie
face.
Mouse.
Yes.
That's right. They have a Mickey Mouse face already, and they're adding a Minnie Mouse face.
Adding Minnie. Yeah, the faces they're saying will be customizable from the phone app. So you'll be able to like change colors and themes and that within the watch faces from the phone app. So it'll be interesting to see, because that's kind of cumbersome to try to do on the watch from the watch. So it'll be
Very much
interesting
so.
to see how that works. Yeah, there were a lot of details about how we will interact with the watch now, like swiping up to do this and side to do that. And so it'll be interesting to see how all of those things actually work. But yeah, the key to it all, I think, was that it's just going to be faster. And another thing that I thought was interesting, there will be an SOS feature where you can press and hold the side button to call either 911 or whatever the emergency people are in your area, or you can call your emergency contact. And I think that's just brilliant. And that works out for Wi-Fi or cellular.
That's right. The way I saw them describe the feature is it's also location aware. So if you're in a foreign country, it knows you're in, say, they used Hong Kong as an example,
right,
where the emergency number is 999. I have an interesting tidbit about that, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second. So you press and hold the side button, and it will dial the emergency number for the region you're in, which I thought was clever as well.
That is brilliant.
It will dial emergency services. It will stay on the phone with them. At the same time, it will send messages if you set it up. It'll send messages with a map of your location to your emergency contacts. And then when you're done with the phone call, it will display your medical ID on the watch face, which has your blood type and any allergies and things like that. Medical ID is already a part of iOS. I don't know if you ever set yours up. You set it up inside of the, you can set that up inside of the Health app and display it to show on your home screen if there's an emergency. Yeah, I think the big takeaway for me is the speed. And I guess the UI enhancements will make it easier to use. I really do like the fact that you can customize your watch faces in the phone app, because that's so much easier. And you could set up, 5 or 6 and then apply it to the phone. I think that's to the watch. Sorry, I think that's brilliant.
Right.
Then they moved
Yeah.
on to Apple TV. The big one for me on Apple TV was the new remote app again. You remember when the new version of the Apple TV came out, they did not update the remote app to support it, or they
Yes.
ultimately did. They eventually did, but again, it was still quite limited. Well, now the new version of the remote app is going to mimic the remote that comes with the Apple TV, including Siri, all of the Siri commands, including using the gyroscopes and accelerometers as a game controller. So your phone will now become your game controller. And I think that is by far the best way to control an Apple TV. I use my phone or my iPad to control my Apple TV all the time. And that's the reason I never bought the new Apple TV, because the remote app was so limited and I would have been giving up functionality that I have on the older generation and didn't want to move over to the new one. Come the fall, again, they say the fall, they don't ever say when, but come the fall, I will
Right.
probably be buying a new Apple TV. I'll move mine into another room and put this one in my main room and do that. A lot of other nice features. If you've ever logged into a video streaming app like, say, ESPN or NBC on an iPad, you know that in addition to authenticating with your provider's username and password, you are then given a code, which you then have to go to a browser, navigate to a web page, type in the code to authenticate your device. Apple are doing away with that entirely with what they call one-touch login. You log in one time, and that login works on any application that requires your provider login. So if you're a Comcast customer, you know, it will remember that system-wide and device platform-wide. It works on the Mac, the iPad, the iPhone, Apple TV. So you log in one time using, I can't remember, one touch login or whatever it's called, and it works across any application that requires your provider credentials. That is huge.
That's really nice.
For me, anyway. Yeah, for me, it's huge. They also they're implementing Instant Watch, so you can say, Siri, "Hey Siri, watch ESPN," and it will find. Sorry, my Siri just activated, and it will find the ESPN app. It will open it and start playing it for you again on any device. So on my iPad, I could say, "Hey, Siri, open, watch ESPN," and it will not only open the app, but starts live streamings. Normally you open the app, you're presented with their latest news page, then you have to find the watch live button and press that. That again is a huge enhancement, especially if all you do is watch your TV through apps. And that's how I watch TV. I don't use a television. I use my Apple TV with its apps. I think that's a biggie. For me, that's huge. Setting up, when I buy my new Apple TV, setting it up and logging into things now is going to be a one-time deal. I'm going to have to do it once instead of for all, 20 or 30 individual apps that I use to watch TV. That's massive.
Right.
Did you have any takeaways from the Apple TV section?
Not a single one.
Okay. Then they moved on to Mac OS, or I should say OS 10, which they've renamed Mac OS. I get to coincide with there's iOS, there's watchOS, TV OS, and now Mac OS. And they announced Sierra, the next version of Mac OS Sierra. I didn't really pay much attention to this part of the presentation.
It wasn't very
because,
exciting,
quite frankly,
I didn't think.
Yeah. My Mac is a media server and only a media server, so I don't know what new features they came up with for Mac OS.
It's getting Siri. So
yeah, that's right. It is getting Siri. Yeah.
So that is big. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll help. I mean, that will make like searches and that kind of, I say integration, but I guess continuity is more with your other devices, a thing. But yeah, that wasn't flashy to me. Although I do use a Mac. I use Mac OS every day. but yeah, just whatever. None of it excited me. I'm reading my notes. What do you have next? You are eating. Reading candy
iOS
is
10
that.
next.
Oh, go ahead.
iOS 10. And I believe this is what most people were waiting for during the presentation was iOS. So they started with a redesign of the lock screen. Now, you know, anybody with an iPhone knows that the lock screen displays the time and the date, and also any notifications you get that you're allowed to display on the lock screen.
Right.
And anybody with a newer iPhone, a 6S or a 6S Plus, knows that when you pick up the phone and press the home button, because Touch ID is so fast, it jumps right past those notifications and takes you straight into your phone, which is great. I love that it's fast. I think that's fantastic. But it negates the entire lock screen notification process. So in iOS 10, Apple are implementing what they call raise to look or raise to turn on, whatever, where you pick your phone up, you tilt the screen towards you, and it turns on the phone and lets you see your notifications. They're also, though, building 3D touch support into these notifications. So if you force touch on one of your notifications, it will bring up, I guess, a bigger preview, or it will take you into like you're in the app, like 3D touch works now.
Right.
Which I think is great, because I won't have to go into an application. I won't have to unlock the phone, dive into an application and read it and then back out. I can just force touch, look at whatever I need to look at. If it's an email, I can mark it as read. You can even reply to emails and messages from this force touch preview, and then throw the phone down and be gone. I think that is a wonderful enhancement to the lock screen. These are all things, by the way, that have existed on Android forever.
Yes. Yes.
Which
I
are
think
only
that's
just now coming to iOS.
rich notifications, I think. Is that what that one is? And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I read somewhere at Gizmodo, I don't know, somewhere that that's what you're talking about is only for devices with the 3D touch, but they're talking about it'll also come to other devices as like a second stage rollout of iOS 10. So
interesting.
Yes.
Because they said it will support devices from the iPhone 5 and newer. Of course, those don't have 3D touch, but I thought they would have implemented it with like a long press or something.
I think,
who knows? We'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking to see.
I have the newest iPhone. I have Force Touch, and I love it. I use it constantly.
Right.
If you don't have one with Force Touch, go get one. Do you have Force Touch? Do you use it much?
I do. Yeah. But I also have the iPad Pro that doesn't have it, and I don't miss it on that. So, you know, I mean, it's nice to have, but it's not tragic not to have it. You know?
I miss it on the iPad. And I think the only reason they don't have it on, I do. I really do like Force Touch. I love the shortcut functionality that it gives you.
Well, you have that bootleg old iPad.
It's not old. It's an iPad Mini 3. It's a generation old, and it's fast as all get out. Let's put it that way.
HomeKit, the smart home control things, also have something on the lock screen and in the swipe up the control center where you can control your house without having to unlock your phone.
All right. Well, okay. So here's what they're doing.
Still on new features.
Instead of, so we have all these home automation products, light bulbs and door locks and doorbells with cameras and thermostats that you can control from your phone. And generally it requires you to jump into different apps to do different things.
Right.
Well, Apple are doing away with that, and they're trying to integrate everything by making their own app called Apple Home that will integrate all of these home automation products into one application and allow you to control them individually or set up different scenes. So you could have they demoed one scene called Good Night that closed the blinds and turned off the lights, locked the doors, closed the garage, and changed the temperature on the thermostat for their nighttime setting. So it's a usability feature for the end user is what it is. And I think quite a good idea. I won't make much use of it because I don't have much of this home automation stuff. And everything I do have, I can already control from widgets on the notification screen in the widgets. Do you ever mess with those, by the way, widgets on the Today screen?
I have some, not many. I don't have much going on there.
Okay. Well, everything I need to control is controllable from a widget. My lights, my thermostat, my cameras, they're all controllable from there. So I don't know if I'll be using that app or not. It remains to be seen. I guess it depends what additional functionality it can bring me above and beyond what I already get from the widgets.
Right.
So while I think some people will consider that a huge, major enhancement or usability enhancement, for your average person with one or two devices, I don't think it's going to be as cutting edge. But as time progresses and we all start to accumulate these home automation things, then of course it will become a big deal to us as well. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, I have zero.
Yeah.
I have none of those.
Yeah, and I have very few. Then messages.
Yes.
iMessage is getting a number of enhancents.
I'm very excited about these.
You are? Which ones in particular?
All of them. I'm honestly, I'm most excited about the emoji prediction. I think because I'm forever jacking around with third-party keyboards, which you hate. But
yeah, I hate them.
The thing, if once iMessage gets emoji prediction, if it's any good, I'll go back to that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I just think it's fun.
Dude, see, I'm not even big on emoji, but when I saw the demo of this, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to use that every single message. So while you're typing, it will try to predict an emoji for you to use. But if you've typed out the entire message, you can press and hold. I think you press and hold the emoji key and it will emojify your message. So it will look for words that you've already typed. So meet me for hamburgers in 30 minutes or whatever at Starbucks. And it will go through and find the words that it can replace with an emoji. So hamburgers, it will replace with a hamburger symbol. So it'll highlight those words. You tap them. It replaces that word with an emoji. Then you send your message. And it's amazing. I'm going to have so much fun with that. And I'm wondering if it will work for words like dick and fuck and asshole and stuff like that. I bet it doesn't.
Well, and it does things like, remember, I know I sent you this. When I typed the word sweet, it came up with this bizarre brown thing, which I finally figured out was a sweet potato. So as you're typing a word, it's trying to figure out what you're saying. So you can be halfway through a word and it's predicting. It's like guessing what you're saying. So it could be completely wrong, which makes it funny as shit sometimes.
It does make it funny as shit. Well, that brings up this third party. Yeah, that was good. I like that. So a lot of features they've added, and they're very difficult to explain over the radio because they are mostly visual effects.
Right.
For example, you can send an invisible message. Basically, you send the message and it's blurred out on the receiver's end until they swipe across it with their finger, which reveals the message underneath. So you can send a photograph that's completely blurred out until they swipe across it. That has the potential for so much shenanigans.
Yeah, it really does.
I can't even explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they have different visual effects for sending messages like stomp. where you send a message and on the receiver's end, it comes through as this really big bubble, which slams into the bottom of the screen and makes all the messages above it jump around, and then they all settle back down in. And then there's loud, which goes in, as a large bubble which shrinks down, and soft, which goes in small and blows up to a larger effect. Then they have full background effects like fireworks going off, things like that. It's a lot of visual enhancements which have absolutely no practical use, but it's going to be fun to use.
Yeah, just
you
fun.
can also send handwritten messages. It will send, you can handwrite your message now, and it will display on the other end as you writing the message. It won't come through as you'll see it being written on the other end.
Right. And these useless things, I think, are what's present in a lot of the third-party keyboards, that when you say to me, why do you need that? And I say, well, because it does this. And you go, well, that's bollocks. Yeah, it is bollocks. It's just complete horseshit, but it's fun. So I think that's what...
No,
and
you know what my objection to third-party keyboards are.
Yeah, I totally do. Yes, I do. But I'm just saying... to say that these things have been missing, I think is maybe an overstatement, because they're really not useful, but they're fun, and they're what I at least have sought in other keyboards. So now that
yes, some, but not all, right? There are still other things you use or like to use that will only be available right now as a third-party keyboard, like GIFs, for example, sending GIFs, or other nonsense like that people like to do. Well, they've also addressed that. Right. So they've now opened iMessage up to developers, and developers can write what are called iMessage apps. So all of this functionality that you currently get from insecure, awful, nasty third-party keyboards, you will now be able to get from what I assume will be secure iMessage apps, which I will be more inclined to try and use as long as the data is stored on my keyboard, on my device locally. Do you see?
Right. Yes.
So iMessage apps, I think, is a big deal. I think it addresses the security concerns that people have with third-party keyboards, and still provides the functionality that people want in their iMessages. Not me, personally. I think the emojification is very clever. I like some of the visual effects. I think that's very clever. But all this GIF nonsense, I try to keep away from it. I see it in Facebook Messenger all the time, and all it does is clutter up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just clutters up feeds.
It's just fun as shit.
It's a disaster.
And it seems like, I believe it's in iMessenger that, I know I've got notes on this, and it's not under iMessenger, so I don't know where my notes are. That there will be other third-party application sort of usability, where you can go to like outside websites from, am I remembering wrong? Like to order stuff?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe I'm just wrong.
Any content you send in an iMessage will be rich content, and it will be application aware. So if you, and of course the developer has to support this, but they demoed Uber, for example.
Yes.
Where somebody sent them a link to their Uber ride, and they were able to force press it, and it brought up a display of their Uber car getting to them. There was one for a restaurant or an ordering application where it, as a group, they were ordering food, and they were able to order their food and basically communicate with the application from inside of iMessage. So they didn't have
one
to
guy
leave
ordered his
iMessage
food and then passed the message on to the next guy so he could add his order and passed it on to the next guy.
Yes. Yeah. And that is clever, right? That's a good usability enhancement. Yeah. There was so the messaging features from the Apple Watch are coming to iMessage as well. So digital touch and heartbeat, sending your heartbeat and things like that, those are being added. Stickers. stickers, slap them on top of bubbles, dress up a photo, even put one on another sticker. Available in the new App Store for iMessage. So in addition to third-party apps, Apple are going to start offering sticker packs and things like that. Again, stuff you already get in, say, Facebook Messenger that they're now adding to iMessage. Here's one thing I was surprised. I honestly thought they were going to announce iMessage for Android. Or is iMessage already on Android?
No.
Okay. I thought they would have announced iMessage for Android, but they didn't.
And there have been rumors for a long time that that was going to happen. And it hasn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't. There's, another user, Siri. They've opened Siri to developers now, so developers can integrate their apps with Siri. So you can say, "Hey Siri, order me a car," and it will know to use Uber to order a car and have it come and pick you up. Things like that. A lot of very clever usability enhancements that are going to streamline processes is the way I look at it. Yeah. So
there
being
was some
able to, for example, order food from within iMessage among a group of friends, I think is a great idea. To be able to hail an Uber with Siri is a great idea.
Similar changes in Maps. There were buttons are getting bigger, typefaces changing. Supposedly you're going to be able to zoom in and out while you're navigating in a map. I think is going to be huge because it drives me crazy that you can't do that now. But
they're also going to display traffic on the navigation menu now. Right now it's just a blue line. Well, with the new iOS 10, they're going to show green, yellow, or red traffic patterns, and you'll be able to zoom out and look ahead so that you can see whether you're approaching bad traffic. That's huge.
Which Google Maps already does. So
exactly. And it's supposed to be more proactive with route suggestions as well. So if it sees you're approaching congestion, it should prompt you for a new route. I've had that happen to me 3 times total since I've been using Apple Maps. Well, once was today, strangely enough. So it's always been able to do that, but it's never been very proactive with it.
Yeah, mine never does that.
It's supposed to be smarter.
Google Maps does it all the time, but
it does.
I use my Apple Maps because it speaks in my Siri's cute little Australian boy accent. So, I sacrifice the better navigation for the cute accent. But you'll also be able to
opened up Maps. Go on.
Probably what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Well, they've also opened up Maps more to developers as well. So their apps integrate more with the Maps feature. So if you're searching for restaurants and you find a restaurant you like, you can now book a table at that restaurant using, say, OpenTable, or you can order out using that to-go foods thing, whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Zipcar, whatever, the food ordering one.
We don't have that here.
And you can do all that from inside of Maps and pay for your food inside of Maps without ever leaving the application. Again, a user productivity feature is the way I look at it. Streamlining processes. That's how I see it.
Yes.
Better on your right while you're in the middle of navigating. You can swipe up from the bottom now and look for, gas stations, food, or coffee. And if you see one you want to go to, it will even update your ETA and tell you how much more time it would add if you stop there before you even decide you're going to go there. Again, being proactive, I think that is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that's super good. Photos?
Yeah. Just things like that. They're redesigning the music app completely, which is long overdue. The Apple Music app has been a bit of a disaster. And they're going to go back to putting the focus on your music that's stored locally on the device or in iTunes Match, because it's kind of a bear right now to get to your own freaking music. The main focus is on Apple Music, which I understand. They want people to subscribe and be an Apple Music customer, but it comes at the expense of your own music collection. That's fine for me. I subscribe to Apple Music, but for people that don't, that's just a pain in the ass, especially when Apple Music does not remember where you left off. So every time you go back to it, you're forced to navigate back to the place you were playing. Well, it's also now supposed to remember where you left off, and right in front of your face as soon as you open a recently played section. So you should be able to jump right back to where you were without any of this ridiculous renavigation that they force upon you at the moment. That's, again, to me, that's huge.
Oh, we jumped right over. I'm sorry, were you done with music?
Sure.
The ability to remove stock apps.
Photos. Oh yeah, I only just read about that this evening. Did they talk about that in the presentation?
I don't know, but I did read about it.
I have a page. I did have a page in my browser loaded to read about that because it comes with some very serious caveats. Because when you think about all this integration that's now going to be happening, apps working together, Apple have issued a list of apps that will be able to be uninstalled and the ramifications of uninstalling them and the things you're going to lose and won't be able to do if you get rid of these stock apps. I'll have to find that page again, but we'll get to it. Let's do that at the end because I'm going to have to search for that. Let's go on to photos.
Okay.
Apple have invented Google Photos.
Yeah, they have pretty much.
That's all
but with storage that you have to pay for.
It's Google, everything that.
But with paid storage, pretty much.
Yeah, with paid storage, it's everything that Google Photos already does, but you have to, but you pay extra to have extra iCloud storage.
Yep.
Now I laugh and I mock it. Because I've started using Google Photos. I love Google Photos, and it saves me space on my device. However, there are some features of this that are better implemented than Google Photos. For example, the way the Apple Photos app will create memories and make videos automatically for you is a lot nicer than the way Google Photos does it. So, here's what I want to know. I don't know the answer to this question. I don't know if you do or if anyone does. Will memories then be uploaded to Google Photos so that I can let the iPhone do its thing, right? I can let Apple Photos do its thing, create the memory, make sure it gets backed up to Google Photos so I have it there with the movie and everything, and then be able to delete it off my phone to save the space. That's what I want to know. I do think that's a question that Google may be able to answer in a few months once they've been able to mess around with the app and develop for iOS 10. If that's the case, then I'll be very happy. If it's not the case, I don't know. I may like Apple's implementation of it more than Google's. Hopefully they'll work together and Google will back up all of these memories that are created. But I guess we'll have to see. It remains to be seen whether that will be the case. They did it, Google did start to support live photos, right?
I was just thinking that.
The feature.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, once Google has access to what iOS is able to do, how Google adapts will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think they will adapt because the Google Photos is a very valuable platform to them.
Yes.
Not sure how, because they don't actually charge money for it, but they make a shit ton, I guess, off of being able to index photos and use them for different things. I don't know. But it's a great feature. It frees up all this storage on your phone. It's free in some cases if you use their optimized settings. And I really hope that it supports all of these new features that the Apple Photos app will support. Otherwise, mind you, again, for me, it's not a big deal because I do pay for the extra iCloud storage space. but I do like being able to delete them all off of my phone and free up that space and just have them in Google Photos. We'll see. But yeah, Apple Photos, basically they invented Google Photos.
For money.
And yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, memories, they're calling them. And I think it's fantastic. They're implementing pay on the web with Apple Pay. So if you go to a website, I'm thinking Amazon will probably start to support this because Amazon are a big Apple partner. And so now when you set up your account, you won't even have to plug in a credit card. It uses continuity between your desktop and your phone, that when you order online, you press the Pay with Apple Pay button. It pops up on your phone. You authenticate with your thumbprint. There you go. Purchase complete. Again, just a really another nice usability feature. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Something and secure, because you then don't have to provide Amazon with credit card info.
Right.
And any credit card info they get is uses the Apple Pay system, which generates a one-time use number for every single purchase. So, again, you know, security and ease of use. And that's what Apple are very good at. You know, they're very good at making things easy for the end user. I think iOS 10 is going to be a huge release. Now, let's talk about betas. I am I am a member of their developer program, although I'm not a developer. I did it. Actually, I'm not anymore because I didn't renew my subscription this year. It's $100 a year to be a member of the developer program. Mine expired a couple of months ago.
So
but
if you
have
were
my registration,
if you were, could you get the iOS 10 today?
I could get it today. Yes, I could
Oh.
download it today. Now, never ever download it to your main device, okay? Because this is pre-release software. None of your apps are going to work right now, period, right? Because developers are going to have to update their apps to work with iOS 10. So, or not, I shouldn't say none. Very few of them will work as of today. Now, come July, they will launch their public beta, which anyone can get in on. Go to beta.apple.com. And as long as you have an Apple ID, you can get in on the public betas. I would say skip the first two public betas. And if you really want to get a beta of iOS 10, wait until the third public beta, download that. And by that time, most of the bugs should have been worked out, and a large majority of apps should have already been updated to support iOS 10. That is when I jumped in on iOS 9 on my phones. I did the iOS 9 beta on my iPad. We talked about this last year, remember? When it was in September or October when the beta came, or actually a little bit prior to that. I updated my iPad and my iPhone to the iOS 9 beta, and it worked. Yeah, it worked okay. I ended up reverting back on my iPhone, but kept it on my iPad, and I was running iOS 9 on my iPad for a few months before the final release came out. And I will do that again this time. I will wait for probably the third public beta. I will upgrade my iPad. I really hope that they bring side-by-side multitasking to my iPad with iOS 10, my iPad 3. They didn't mention it, but there's a lot of, there's shit tons of features that they did not talk about. I'm hoping that's one of them. I'll find out when I talk to some other developers who get the developer beta. So I will do the beta program for my iPad. I will not do it on my 6S Plus, but I will do it on my iPhone 6, so that I have iOS 10 on my iPhone 6, and I'll use that as a test platform to play around with, and see how it works. The problem is none of the messaging features will work unless the person I'm messaging with also has the beta. You see what I'm saying?
Do what now?
So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like all the new iMessage features, they're not going to do me any good unless I'm sending messages to people that are running the beta, or people are sending me messages from the beta, which support the new features. So But I'll put it on my iPhone 6 and mess around with it and see how it goes. But I will not put it on my main phone because that's my, I don't want to say it's my mission critical device, but it's
Right.
my most important device. It's where I authenticate with for example, all my two-factor authentication is done through this device. I don't need any of that getting messed up and me being locked out of websites and bank accounts and things like that. But look for it sometime in July. Beta.apple.com, public betas of iOS 10, public betas probably of the new tvOS, the new watchOS, and make up your own minds whether you want to do that. I will do it on my iPad because, again, it's not a critical feature, a critical device for me. I will not do it on my iPhone. I'll wait until September or October for the actual release.
What about your watch? Are you
It's
going to
just-
wait for the
Yeah,
the
I'll
real
wait
deal
because
for your
my watch is
watch?
paired. Yeah, because my watch is paired to my 6S Plus, and if I imagine if I update my watch, it will no longer work with my iOS 9
okay.
6S Plus. They usually
Right.
have to be upgraded in conjunction with each other. Also, brings up a good point. If you do decide to test a beta, make a full backup, not an iCloud backup. Make a full backup on your PC of your watch and your phone. And the way you do that, you have to unpair your watch from your phone, which creates a backup on your phone. Then you back that up to iTunes. Then you secure that backup and put it somewhere safe. Because when you upgrade your phone to iOS 10 and it then overwrites your backup in the cloud, that backup can no longer be restored back to iOS 9. So
Oh,
if you
right.
phone, if you downgrade your phone, you cannot restore it from the cloud in that case. So make a backup in iTunes running iOS 9 and make sure you save it somewhere securely. You can mark it as a do not, in iTunes you get the option to mark it as a I think a do not delete or something like that backup, something that's archived. Make sure you have it, because if you decide to downgrade, the only way to restore at that point is going to be from iTunes. Otherwise, you're just starting from scratch. If you want to start from scratch, then don't worry about it. So, and you remember I made that mistake. You remember I made that mistake when I did
I don't know if I remember that.
upgraded my iPhone. Yeah, well, I upgraded my iPhone 6. Maybe it was before you were on the show. I upgraded my iPhone 6. I thought I made my backup, but I made it in the cloud thinking, oh, that'll be enough. I wasn't thinking that once I updated to iOS 9, that it was going to overwrite that backup and I would no longer be able to downgrade. Luckily, I had a backup in iTunes that was it was about a month or two old. So I was able to, of iOS 8 at the time. So I was able to restore that and get to at least a reasonable restore point. But yeah, remember, back up to iTunes. If you're not willing to back up to iTunes, do not run a beta unless you are willing to lose everything. And when I say everything, I mean your photographs, your movies, anything that is not backed up. Anything that's not backed up in the cloud, you are going to lose because you cannot restore that old backup. And that's it. I think we're done. It's 9:23. I think we're about finished, Dan. Danny took off to take care of a barking dog by looks.
Sorry.
So there we are. I was just saying we're wrapping it up now. It's 9:23. There will be no World According to Military Mike tomorrow. He will be back the following Wednesday, which is, let me open my calendar. Tomorrow's the 22nd. He'll be back on June 22nd with the World According to Mike. The reason there is no World According to Mike tomorrow is because Just for Fun are going to an event, I believe, in Social Circle. I'm going to try to get there, but because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning and the event don't think starts until 8, and it's an hour away from my house or half an hour or whatever it is, I don't know that I'll be able to make it. We shall see. But the rest of the crew, I believe, will be there. So yeah, June 22nd, Mike will be back. I was hoping he would have called in this evening to talk about Muzzies, but he didn't.
Yeah, I thought he would have chimed in on that.
Yeah, and he has a lot of friends that are Muslims, so I'm sure he has some pretty strong opinions about. But maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was trying to find the YouTube or then couldn't find it. Who knows? Of course, fire up the app and listen on the radio. Do that. Yeah. So there will be a morning show tomorrow, and it should be on YouTube now that we figured out what the problem was. Danny and I will be back. Danielle and I will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully I'll have a bit more information about this beta of iOS 10, maybe try to get some answers for the questions I have, especially relating to photos and compatibility with Google Photos. We shall see. And whatever tech news comes up between now and then. And that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Good show. That was,
Yep.
we did a lot of stuff.
We did do a lot of stuff. Now I'm going to have to get Scott to transfer that video part 1. I'm going to have to ask him to transfer over because people can't miss that. People need to listen to that podcast that I played. The little rant.
Yeah.
Wasn't even a rant. It's just fact. Facts. That's what that was. Okay. All right, we're going to go. Thank you, everyone listening. Thank you, those people that got to watch. And thank you, anybody that watches the replay. We will talk to you next week. See you later.
Tech Talk out.
I'd already gone to the bumper music. Sorry. So YouTube got your Tech Talk out, but nobody listening got your Tech Talk out.
Well, and now YouTube is hearing you tell me that nobody got us.
Yeah, I'm going to stop this broadcast. So you want to Tech Talk out YouTube again?
Tech Talk out YouTube.